They told you Nigeria had no history before colonialism. They told you civilization started when Britain arrived. But what if I told you that was a lie? Today, I'll reveal 10 shocking facts about Nigeria before colonialism, facts they never taught you in school. Let's begin. Long before the first European ship reached its shores, the land we now call Nigeria was a vibrant tapestry of powerful empires, advanced technology, organized governments, and sophisticated global trade networks. This wasn't a land of chaos waiting to be saved. It was a region of immense wealth, culture, and power. Here are 10 facts they intentionally hid from you. First, Nigeria wasn't one country, it was a collection of many powerful and organized states. Think of it like ancient Greece, a region of independent but interconnected city-states and empires. In the southwest, the mighty Oyo Empire controlled vast territories with its legendary cavalry. In the south-south, the Benin Kingdom flourished, a center of art and military strength. In the northeast, the Kanem-Bornu Empire, one of the longest-lasting empires in world history, controlled trans-Saharan trade for centuries. And in the north, the Sokoto Caliphate unified numerous states under a single, highly organized administration. Each of these entities had its own kings, laws, complex tax systems, formidable armies, and established diplomatic relations with its neighbors in distant lands. The idea of a disorganized, leaderless land is a complete fabrication. Second, the urban planning in ancient Benin City would rival many European cities of its time. When Portuguese explorers arrived in the 15th century, they were stunned. They described a city with wide, straight roads, some stretching for miles. Homes were arranged in a neat grid system. But what truly blew them away was the street lighting. The city used a network of massive palm oil lamps, lit at night to illuminate the main streets. And then there were the walls. The walls of Benin, including the famous moat, were a colossal defensive earthwork. Modern estimates suggest they were 4 times longer than the Great Wall of China and consumed 100 times more material than the Great Pyramid of Giza. This was not a primitive village. It was a sprawling, well-organized, and brilliantly defended metropolis. Third, Nigerian art didn't just impress Europe. It completely shocked it. When British forces looted Benin City in 1897, they stole thousands of intricate bronze and ivory sculptures. These artworks, known today as the Benin Bronzes, were so masterfully crafted, so detailed, and so realistic that European experts at the time refused to believe that Africans could have made them. They invented theories about Egyptians or even lost Portuguese artists being responsible. But the truth was far more impressive. These masterpieces were created by highly skilled guilds of artisans, operating under the patronage of the Oba, or king, like Oba the Great. This artistic tradition was centuries old, perfected long before the British arrived. The art was a library in metal, recording the kingdom's history, its leaders, and its most important beliefs. Fourth, the idea that pre-colonial Nigeria was a land without knowledge is false. It simply preserved and shared knowledge in different, highly effective ways. In the northern Islamic states like Kano, Zaria, and Borno, there were thriving centers of learning. Scholars used Arabic to write extensive manuscripts on law, science, philosophy, and history, with great libraries holding thousands of books. In the Yoruba kingdoms, knowledge was encoded in the complex literary corpus of the Ifa divination system. This system, recognized by UNESCO as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity, contains thousands of verses covering everything from history to medicine. And across all cultures, history was meticulously preserved by professional oral historians and griots, who could recite genealogies and epic histories from memory, passing them down through generations with incredible accuracy. Fifth, women were far from powerless. In many societies, they held significant political and spiritual authority. The narrative of a purely patriarchal past is a gross oversimplification. In the Benin Kingdom, the Queen Mother, or Ioba, was a powerful figure with her own palace, court, and political influence. Queen Idia, the mother of Oba Ezegi, was a legendary military strategist who played a crucial role in her son's successful campaigns. Across Yoruba lands, the Iyalode was a high-ranking female chief who represented the interests of all women in the King's council. In the north, titles like the Magagia gave women real authority within the political structure. In many communities, there were entire women's councils that held sway over markets, social customs, and even influenced major political decisions. Sixth, Nigeria was a key player in global trade networks long before colonialism. This wasn't an isolated land. For centuries, the empires and kingdoms of this region were connected to a vast commercial web. Camel caravans crossed the Sahara Desert, linking Nigerian states with North Africa, the Middle East, and even Europe. They traded valuable goods that were in high demand across the world. From the north came the famous Moroccan leather, which was actually expertly crafted in Kano. Cola nuts, a natural stimulant, were a major export. Gold from the south, exquisite textiles, ivory, spices like pepper. These goods flowed out of Nigeria and brought immense wealth and foreign goods in return. These societies were cosmopolitan, economically savvy, and fully integrated into the world economy on their own terms. Seventh, democratic principles were not a European import. They existed in various forms, most notably among the Igbo people of the southeast. The Igbo political system was famously decentralized. Instead of a single king ruling over everyone, power was distributed among the community. Villages operated through councils of elders, where decisions were made by consensus. Age grades, groups of people born within the same few years, served as a form of civil service and local defense. And most importantly, town hall-style assemblies were common, where every freeborn man had the right to speak and participate in the governance of his community. This was a form of grassroots, participatory democracy that functioned for centuries, ensuring no single individual or group could accumulate absolute power. Eighth, the military systems in pre-colonial Nigeria were advanced and highly organized. These weren't just random bands of fighters. They were structured armies with clear strategies and specialized units. The Oyo Empire's strength came from its professional cavalry. Their skilled horsemen allowed them to control a massive empire and enforce their authority over vast distances. The Sokoto Caliphate organized its military forces across its various emirates, allowing it to mobilize large, coordinated armies for defense and expansion. And as mentioned, the warriors of Benin defended one of the most fortified cities in Africa, using a combination of strategic defense and disciplined soldiers. These military structures were not only effective for warfare, but also for maintaining internal order and security. Now for the ninth and perhaps most critical fact: colonialism did not build from nothing. It actively destroyed the sophisticated systems that were already in place. When Britain arrived with overwhelming military technology, their goal wasn't to develop what was there, it was to dismantle it. They overthrew kings, disbanded armies, and shattered existing political structures. They redrew boundaries, lumping together rival kingdoms and splitting apart cohesive ethnic groups, creating the artificial borders of modern Nigeria. The thriving economic systems were reoriented to serve the needs of the British Empire, focusing on exporting raw materials and importing British manufactured goods, which destroyed local industries. This wasn't nation building. It was a systematic deconstruction of centuries of indigenous civilization to impose foreign rule. And finally, the 10th and most insidious fact: Nigeria's history was deliberately rewritten. To justify their conquest and rule, colonial administrators and educators promoted a narrative that Africa was a dark continent without history, science, or civilization. They minimized or outright denied the achievements of pre-colonial societies. School curricula were designed to teach Nigerians that their own past was one of savagery and that progress only began with the arrival of Europeans. This psychological tool was incredibly powerful, creating generations who were disconnected from their own heritage. But the evidence is undeniable. The ruins of great cities, the stunning art, the detailed historical records, and the enduring cultural practices all tell the same story. Nigeria had a rich, complex, and powerful civilization long before a single colonial flag was ever raised. So, the next time someone tells you that Nigerian history began in 1914, you can tell them the truth. The story of this land is an ancient one, filled with empires, innovation, and a legacy of strength that continues to this day. Thank you for watching. If you found these facts enlightening, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it so more people can learn the history they were never taught. Thanks for watching. See you next time.